We're live, Donna.
This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn. That's that guy acting silly.
Yeah.
For What in the World with Paul Seaburn. And we are short one of our cast members because, well, let's just say he's not available today, and we will miss John Dinallo. So I'm going to have to, be perky and come back with some really good comebacks today, Paul, because I know you're going to be funny.
Oh boy, the pressure's on. Oh, thank you, Karen, for that great introduction. Yeah, you're right. We're flying. Well, we're not flying solo. We're flying binary, and rather than doing a trio. I don't know. We're already getting into dangerous territory. We'll move away from that subject matter there. Yeah, it's me, Paul Seaburn, host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. I am here we're in Northeast Ohio, both Karen and I. Karen, by the way, is Karen Hale, our producer, our co-host, and double co-host today, and media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, which is our platform. Go to newclevelandradio.net, find my page that tells you everything you need to know about downloading us from Spotify and all the other great places, especially YouTube. Welcome to all of our friends who are watching or listening or whatever you do with YouTube on YouTube. We really do appreciate that. Please follow us as long as you're on there. And then while you're on newclevelandradio.net, check out all of Karen's other podcasts. And Yes I Can Coaching with Karen, which is our sponsor, as well as a great coaching service also provided by Karen. So welcome to anybody who follows me over at mysteriousuniverse.org, where I'm the editor and head writer. Many of you know that I talk about UFOs and all the current news in the paranormal world. More in-depth news there than we do on What in the World. What in the World, we stay away from, we try to be lighter. We go for the weird news, the unusual, the world records, the strange things people do, and we have as much fun as we possibly can with them. If the story doesn't tickle your fancy, whatever part of your body that might be, stick around for a minute because we've got a ton of stories to talk about. And then when we're all done, we don't have John this week doing sports, but we do have Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game.
That means I win.
Yes, that's right. You're an automatic winner. That's right. The check is already in the mail, Karen, for with your the so we're here in Northeast Ohio. It's a brisk day today in Northeast Ohio. They're predicting snow tonight, but where we're at in the southern portion of the Cleveland area, we're not in the Lake District, the Lake District where you're getting the lake effect. That's what you've been hearing about on the news. Poor people getting 5 feet of snow just 20 miles from where we're at. Yeah, we have nothing. We have nothing. Little sprinklings. People in our neighborhood use their leaf blowers to clear the snow. So we can annoy people both in the fall and in the winter with using leaf blowers. It's a sensitive subject in areas where there are trees. Hey, get over it. Trees do it. We have to do something. So could be worse. I'm not going to even say how worse it could be, but it could be worse. So let's see. Oh, I want to do a couple of shout outs. I am on Facebook. So for all my friends, either send me a friend request or follow me on Facebook. You will see many of the stories I will test on. I'll test a joke or two on Facebook, so you get a preview of what we'll be talking about. Also, it's a great place to send me messages. I got messages today from Dee and also from Marion. Marion's a long-time listener of the show. Dee is new. I was on her podcast, so Dee, I thank you so much for cross podcasting, listening to mine. I certainly listen to yours. Dee Moonflower is her name. She has a great podcast, so check her out as well. I was on the the Paracast last week, another more paranormal podcast talking about My new book. What would you say to a naked space alien? What a great Christmas gift stocking stuffer that book is, by the way. So check it out on my page, paulseaburn.com, or on Amazon. Just plug my name in and up it comes. Uh, it's not. It is suitable for work. There's no naked alien pictures anywhere, so you can certainly take a look at it at work where you buy all of your other
And that
Amazon.
way, and that way we'll stuff your stocking with lots of pennies because that's what you make on each book.
That's exactly right. That's what everybody's asking. How's the book selling? And honestly, authors out there know. For the rest of you, outside of Stephen King and Danielle Steele and John Grisham, that make millions of dollars on every book, we all make pennies and nickels and dimes, and it's an antiquated business that won't tell us how many books are sold except for like twice a year. So my time is coming up in January. If you suddenly see me wearing a much nicer sweatshirt than my traditional Christmas alien sweatshirt, that means the book sold really well for the last 6 months. And if I'm still wearing this, who knows what it means? We'll find out. Okay, enough of that. I don't have John to pick on here, well, let's get right to some stories here. Oh, some great stories this week. What a fun week this has been. Today is Wednesday, by the way, for those of you listening in live or listening in the future. We moved today. We'll be back on Tuesday next week. Okay, so what do we have? We have some Tart World Records from Germany. The world's worst cologne, but it's not from Cologne. A whale of a Sundae from Japan. Oh boy, this was a popular story on Facebook. The Scrabbled Scrabble from Spain. Karen, I'm going to be depending on you for the Scrabble subject because your brother is the Scrabble. He's a Scrabble guru, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is. Yes.
So we'll give him a plug when we get to that portion. A Christmas Carol's odd link to Dean Martin. This is actually part of another story that we like to go off on tangents, and this is a tangent you'll want to stick around to hear. A nun who's no longer on the run in Italy. Oh, this is a fun story, fun crime story, not like the other ones we've been hearing about this week. Let's see. Saint Nick. We just had Saint Nicholas Day, December 6th, this past week, and Saint Nick was the predecessor of Santa Claus, the inspiration. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, and also about his link to the world's hardest candy. So stick around for that. We got more odd news. We've got some world record. We've got trivia. And I don't have any sports. John's not here, but we do have Bluff the co-host. So let's get right to it with our first story. So this one comes from Oxford University Press. Every year they come out with their word of the year. I think Merriam-Webster Dictionary does it as well. I like these guys published the Oxford Dictionary. They revealed their word of the year for 2024. Word of the year, brain rot. Now, this must be something that the Oxford people obviously have, because brain rot is not a word. It's two words, which would be a phrase or an expression, not a word, which many people were pointed out to me when I talked about it on Facebook. It's not a word. This brain rot, the term, the expression has been around for a long time. Karen, I don't know if you ever used it, but my parents used to use brain rot when they were talking about me listening to rock music.
Oh,
that
okay.
stuff.
Nope.
It's gonna rot your brain, give you brain rot. Yeah. So the first recorded use of the expression brain rot was, believe it or not, by Henry David Thoreau, a well-known, well-respected writer. Hard to believe he used the word brain rot, but he did. And in his 1854 book, Walden, the book that we all know him for, from his 2 years on Walden Pond, what was he, why did he use the word brain rot? That's what he got from all the people coming up to his door and asking him what it's like to be there all by himself all the time. And he said, "That's why I'm here, you brain rot. Away from you." So Oxford president Caspar Grathwohl said that in the modern sense, brain rot, this is a quote, brain rot speaks to one of the perceived dangers of virtual life and how we are using our free time. The good news is you can avoid brain rot by listening to What in the World. So
That's right.
you're doing the right thing. You're not going to have brain rot for at least not quite an hour yet. If you want to avoid it, put us on loop. Okay, the cologne story. Oh, everybody loved this story. Miller High Life, believe it or not. Oh, I had some pictures here. Let's see. Boy, without John, I'm out of
Yeah,
sync
you're
here.
on a sync.
There's our little logo. What in the world? There's let's see. I've got everybody's favorite Christmas present here. What would you say to us, the naked space alien? And my little reminder that brain rot is the word of the year. It's a noun, although it's not a noun. It's an expression, but we already went through that. Okay, so Miller High Life announced a new perfume called, believe it or not, Dive Bar Fume. Dive
Ooh,
Bar, yeah. Oh, don't go ooh yet, Karen.
yeah.
Wait till you hear about it. The Miller people bragged that it, I quote, captures every familiar dive bar scent from the satisfying crack of a freshly opened beer to the comforting, savory taste of classic bar snacks, along with the smells of tobacco, leather, and musk from the bar stool. I got news for you. If you think that that's what a bar stool smells like, you're not in a dive bar.
Yeah, yeah. Who would want to smell that?
Exactly, exactly. Obviously, they think people would want to smell it because they're selling it for $40 a bottle.
Oh
And I
my
can't,
God.
I have the picture here. It doesn't say how many ounces are in the bottle, but you know how our cologne and perfume is. It's probably a small bottle, 1 ounce or 2 ounces. $40. Um, you can get the same smell for free, by the way, if you go to an actual dive bar and
Yeah.
roll around the floor for a minute. That's it. You stink. You smell exactly like a dive bar.
Oh my.
Yeah. So this comes from Miller Brewing Company. So I did a little research on Miller. They were founded in Milwaukee in 1855 by Frederick Miller. Go figure, who immigrated from Hohenzollern, Germany in 1854. And what he did was he smuggled out a unique brewer's yeast that he was using in Germany, and he smuggled it to Milwaukee, where he started making the beer that he had invented in Germany. So he smuggled it out and brought it here with the brewer's yeast. He probably put it in his sock because nobody would notice the yeasty smell in his socks. The Miller High Life, he started the company in, he started brewing the beer in 1854. Miller High Life came out in 1903. So it took him a while until he came out with the champagne of beers, as it became known as. Um, why? Because it had a high level of carbonation, like champagne. And it,
Oh,
yeah, I didn't know that. So when people started comparing it to champagne, they started putting it in bottles that were not shaped the same way as regular beer bottle with the skinny neck. It had a wider neck that made it look more like a champagne bottle. Also, it had this girl. Now, I don't remember this. I had to look at a bottle. Miller High Life
ooh,
beer has a
yeah.
girl on a half on a crescent moon on the label. So everybody wants to know, and it's changed over the years. I'll talk about them. So it started out um, uh, the advertising people said that the girl in the moon, but one legend is that one of their first advertising managers had a vision of a girl in a fancy dress and cowboy boots on a moon, and while he was lost in the woods in Wisconsin. So my guess is he had probably drank a lot of Miller while he was
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
he got lost, and that was one of his fantasies. Now the Miller family disagrees. They say that the girl in the moon was based on a member of the Miller family. None of them look German. They all have like Mexican hats on them. and either and cowboy boots.
Yeah.
One of yeah. So that they say comes from some Mexican artwork that the Miller family bought while they were on a trip to Mexico, and they had it on display in the brewery and in their home. So that seems to be maybe the most likely um, explanation. Although I
Right.
thought if you want the high life when you're in Mexico, you drink tequila, not beer. So I don't know. No. Although I don't know, after a lot of tequila, there's no high life for me. That's for sure. So that's why I don't drink tequila anymore. Okay, so we got a world record. So there's a lot of different logos here. I didn't realize that Miller had was that known for the girl on the crescent moon. Okay, also from Germany, Andre Orthoff from Germany set two world records in a single day this past month for drinking something that wasn't beer. He drank a liter of lemon juice through a straw in
Ooh.
13.3 seconds. Yeah, that's almost a quart, Karen. A liter of lemon juice. 13.3 seconds, barely, barely a sixth of not quite a quarter of a minute. Then he drank another liter of lime juice through a straw in 13.51 seconds. Unbelievable. He's okay now. But for a few minutes after he drank both of them, he disappeared, and all that was left was a pucker floating had been sitting. And then slowly but surely his body adjusted and released it, and he came back. He later set a third record for the world's loudest scream when he went to the bathroom. So,
Yeah, I would think
yeah,
so.
kids, don't try this at home.
No,
Let
no.
somebody else have this record. He actually lost the record. He had it a couple years ago, and he lost it to that guy that we David Rush up in Wisconsin, I think he is, who's this serial record holder. So he saw it and he decided he could do it better. So now this Andre got his record back. The original record was 16 seconds for the lemon juice. How do
Oh,
you practice to do something like this, Karen?
I
I
don't
can't.
know. It's
No. I was thinking you can't order lemon juice at a restaurant. The closest you can do is you go and order iced tea with lemon, hold the iced tea, and
right.
then you which but you got to drink an awful lot of lemon iced tea to get that much lemon juice. He said, and this time after this record, my stomach felt relatively good, but I had a toothache. It only went away after a day. A toothache. So I mean, I'm guessing the acid must have eaten through the tooth enamel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you have and I again, don't try this at home, but if you do and you have an emergency, they also said if you have an emergency from drinking lemon juice, do not call 911. You call lemonade.
Oh, good.
That's for
Good.
John.
Yep.
Lemonade, you call. Okay. All right. Do I have another picture to go with that? No. All right. So, but also we're sticking with food and edible items here. A popular, this story, I actually got some negative comments on this one from Facebook. Popular ice cream treat from a farmer's market in Binamimoso, Japan, is vanilla ice cream. So far, so good, topped with raw whale meat, a slice of raw whale meat, pepper, and a whale shaped rice wafer. Call me squeamish male, but that combination makes me Moby sick.
Oh, whale meat with ice cream,
Isn't that
and it's
unbelievable?
raw.
Yes. I
Yeah.
believe it's raw whale meat, like a giant piece of
Yeah.
sushi, whale sushi. Um, they sprinkle the pepper over it because, and this is amazing, soy sauce is not enough to mask the taste of the whale. So they said pepper is the only thing that will help some people force down the whale meat, which, my answer to that is then don't order the whale meat.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
the line.
Exactly.
It's
Oh,
green. Um, or they also said it has a very distinct smell. Duh. If you don't want to smell it, order a dish and put the cone over your nose and eat it that way, and that'll help you not smell the whale meat.
so I
Not
get
to be like,
why in the Asian countries do they come up with all these weird foods and especially desserts?
the dessert part, I don't have an answer for. I agree with you 100%. Japan is an island. Fishing has been its livelihood for so many people for so long that they have so many fish dishes. And whaling, until they killed almost all the whales, was one of the big things. So I can understand why they have a lot of whale dishes. But whale and ice cream, now you're pushing it. Now
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing I think they invent for American tourists, and they put a big and they're sitting in the back room laughing. Let's see if the Americans will eat this.
Yeah.
The Dairy Queen, not to be outdone, Dairy Queen in Japan is also coming out with the beluga split, which is a beluga whale. Um,
Uh,
Now, you may be wondering, what does raw whale meat smell like? I had to do some research. I found out from the Bible. According to the Bible, raw whale meat smells just like Jonah's butt. Um,
oh,
Way to go for that one, boy.
I hope John takes a listen to this podcast.
Jonah's butt. All right. Okay. Oh, here's another world record here. Two brothers in the UK were digging through a shopping bag from an attic that they bought at a flea market, and they found a pair of um, rare gold star Pokemon cards. Now, these are the Charizard character Pokemon, and they were in good condition, such good condition that they may be worth up to $32,000 for one of these Charizard. With the star, you can see on the picture, there's a star next to the name, so that makes it special according to the Pokemon people. They were warned by experts to put the two cards in plastic sleeves and not in a shoebox where their mom might be cleaning and throw them away. So, um, that's what happened to all of us with our baseball cards, including my Rocky Colavito. I want to mention Rocky Colavito for all of our Cleveland fans, passed away at the age of 91.
Yes.
Uh, I'm of the age where Rocky Colavito was the first baseball player whose name I actually knew and associated with the Cleveland Indians at the time in baseball. I don't think there was a person in Cleveland who did not like or love Rocky Colavito because of his name and his home runs, and he was just a good guy. So,
And I know him from the Tigers.
oh, that's
Yeah.
right, where he got
Yep.
traded. Oh,
Yes.
trade Wayne, yeah,
Uh,
he traded
yeah.
Rocky Colavito for Harvey Kuhn, who was the MVP that year for the Tigers. Here I am doing John's sports segment. He was the MVP for the Tigers. So everybody, Trader Lane, I don't even remember his first name. It's just everybody calls him Trader to this day. He thought, well, he'll just do even better for the Indians, and he actually did worse. Whereas Colavito played pretty well for the Tigers for a few years.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
he got traded to another team, then he came back to Cleveland. Um, so these two brothers, besides these world record Pokemon cards, also possess the world's largest collection of Pokemon cards. 48,339 unique Pokemon cards from around the world. So they're in all different languages. That's right. They're not just that many characters, but they have it in every language you can possibly think of.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Needless to
And I
say,
thought, and I thought Alex had a lot. So when he was home for Thanksgiving,
yeah,
his were all in binders in plastic sleeves. And he was going through them and he
he's going
told
through.
me, do not touch these. And I said, okay, they're not in a shoebox. I won't touch them.
There you go. That's right. The I mean, they have almost 50,000 cards. If they do that thing where you go on Pokemon hunts, it could take them months before they find the Pokemon that they're looking for. If
Yeah.
that's 50,000 cards. Okay. All right. So Karen's brother, um, uh, now I can't remember. Gary, is it
Gary.
Gary?
Yep,
Gary.
got it.
Gary Plus. Well-known Scrabble champion, I believe, isn't he?
Yep.
Is he? Yeah. So you can look him up on Facebook. By the way, he has a page on Facebook. He talks about Scrabble. Um, he's so this is a story for Gary. I thought of him when he may know this guy, Nigel Richards of New Zealand, won the 2024 Spanish language Scrabble World Championship. There's a picture of him. He won the Spanish language World Scrabble Championship despite not speaking a word of Spanish. He memorized the Spanish dictionary, just memorized all the words, Spanish words, and he played and won the championship.
Wow.
Needless, yeah, most of the words were ones that he picked up off the Taco Bell menu. So there's a lot of guacamoles, and by the way, guacamole is you get 14 points for guacamole. I was trying to think what would be the most points for a Spanish word that I know. Guacamole, Meximelt, which is illegal because that's a trademark of Taco Bell. Meximelt is 19. You get 19 points for Meximelt. The highest one I saw was quesadilla with 20. You get 20 points for quesadilla. Um, so they call him the Tiger Woods of Scrabble, which if you said that to me, that would tell me that he's got a blonde model girlfriend. But you can ask Gary, does, does being a Scrabble champion mean that blonde models are attracted to you? The world wants to know. Um, so he memorized all these Spanish words, didn't learn their meaning. Um, he said he also learned French. He won a lot of tournaments in French, memorizing the French dictionary in 9 weeks. That's all it took him, 9 weeks. The longest word in French, no, longest word in Spanish that he could have used, electroencephalographista, 34 points for that word, which is a person who performs tests that record brain activity. So if you're a Scrabble player, write that one down. Playing Scrabble, by the way, prevents brain rot. So it's a good activity to.
Yes, it is. Very good activity.
And as we all know, you can't use brain rot in Scrabble because it's not a word. All right. So everybody's been to McDonald's. Karen, you've been to McDonald's, right?
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah. If you have a child, you've probably been to McDonald's thousands of times. So a man in Wales rode his Arabian horse up to the intercom at the McDonald's drive-in in drive-through lane in Wales, where he lived. He ordered a sausage and egg McMuffin for himself and a side of apple slices for his Arabian horse. Then he went to the payment window, paid his money, and picked up his order. The car behind him, by the way, didn't order a Big Mac, but they got two patties anyways. I have to mention on Facebook, I got a comment from a gentleman by the name of Terry. I won't give his last name. Terry said that horses do not make patties. Horses make road apples or buns. That's what they're called, a bun. They don't make patties. Cows make patties. To which another friend of mine who goes by the name of Camera Jockey said, well, Terry certainly knows his sheets.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
So another reason to check out my Facebook page.
Absolutely.
By the way, if you're thinking about doing this, it is illegal in any country to ride your horse through a McDonald's drive-through. They have managed to have that law passed wherever they are. You are not allowed to ride a horse through a drive-through. It also does not allow pedestrians, bicycle riders, non-roadworthy mobility scooters, horse riders, or any horse-drawn vehicles. So that means the Amish can't go to McDonald's either, although
McDonald's, yeah.
they would.
Mm,
I wonder if they know this down in Florida in the villages where everybody drives around in golf carts. I'm not sure if a golf cart would be legal to go to McDonald's in.
Probably
But
not.
yeah, but think about this, Karen, and maybe if you guys are listeners down in Florida, if golf carts are eventually legal on the road, that would make them legal at McDonald's, which would mean that McDonald's would have to lower the drive-through window down to like about 2 feet off the ground, so that golf carts could be accommodated as
Yeah.
well. At least, thank God this guy didn't ride his horse to Taco Bell. I don't know if they have this rule at Taco Bell, but you know, give his horse anything on the menu at Taco Bell, and it would clear the entire lane behind him.
Yes, it would. Yes.
Every, everybody be gone. Road apples, patties, you name it, tacos, enchiladas, whatever you scrabble, whatever those scrabble words were. Okay, my favorite story of the week and of the Christmas season, the holiday season. It's a holiday. This is about the subject is a holiday earworm. It's also everyone's least favorite Christmas carol, and now it's a true story. What am I talking about? Grandma got run over by a reindeer. It turns out at a 5K race in upstate New York, a real grandma got run over by a reindeer, a deer, when at least four deer ran out of the woods just at the start of the race and knocked her over along with a number of other female runners. Now, no one was seriously injured, and a photographer got the whole thing. I have a picture up here. A photographer got it so that she could go home, and now Grandpa believes. Uh, for those of who could, Karen knows what the grandma got run over by a reindeer. I don't think anybody in the world has not heard Grandma got
Oh,
run over
they play it all season long. So
Yeah, yeah.
if you
Since
haven't heard it, just go
Halloween.
on YouTube and Google it and you'll find it and listen to it.
Exactly, exactly. Now, I didn't know this, but according to the people running the race, since the deer crossed the starting line legally, the one deer was awarded first place in both its gender. It was a male. It also got its age group award, and it also won the species award for fastest deer. So, according to
Wow.
yeah, according to witnesses, one of the deer went right for two unsuspecting female runners. And if you've run in any of these races, the only weapon you have is the safety pins that are holding your bib number to your
Right.
shirt. Yeah,
Exactly.
not exactly a good effective weapon against the deer. Uh, Now, so since I mentioned Grandma got run over by a reindeer, I'm going to stick that song in your head as hard as I possibly can. That song, and this is the link to Dean Martin. Get a load of this. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer was written by a guy by the name of Randy Brooks. It was recorded by Elmo Shropshire in 1979 with his then wife under the name Elmo and Patsy. So if you go looking, I have the record I'll bring up in a minute. The they were the first people to sing the song, Elmo and Patsy. According to Brooks, he came up with the idea for the song after observing a tipsy relative of his at a party. Now, why do I bring that up? Because for you old timers out there, Randy Brooks is the nephew of Foster Brooks.
Wow.
Yeah, Foster Brooks. Foster Brooks was well known as he did a drunk character, especially on the Dean Martin show, and then on all the Dean Martin roast. Very good-looking, distinguished gentleman with a white beard. The best drunk act you ever heard, but just the funniest routine. Um, so Foster Brooks got his start working in radio and television at WHAM AM in Rochester, New York, and
Oh,
then he moved to WGR and WKVW in Buffalo, where he hosted the musical clock, this old time radio, the musical clock and $1 Million Ballroom. He also performed, and this is hard to believe for those of you who have seen him on TV, he performed with a country western group known as the Hi Hatters. He wasn't doing his drunk bit then, but he probably would have fit right in with the crowd at country western bars. Um, he then moved to the West Coast where he became a stand-up comedian and a character actor. As a character actor, Karen, this is for your husband. You can look for Foster Brooks on episodes of The Munsters, The Monkees, and Bewitched. So
Okay.
how
I
about
will
that? Yeah,
let, I will let
yeah.
my husband know because he
Oh,
loves
I
those
know it.
old time shows.
He probably knows the episodes already.
Right.
So when did the drunk thing start? On the Steve Allen show, which was the predecessor to the Tonight Show, starring Jack Parr before Johnny Carson. On the Steve Allen show, Allen introduced Brooks as an important movie producer, and he would then stumble onto stage and do his drunk act. And he actually fooled many of the guests who were on the show. That's how good. Of course, how hard it is to act drunk, I know. He regularly appeared on Dean Martin's show in the 1970s. He got an Emmy nomination for being a drunk on the Dean Martin show. That's how
Wow.
good. Yeah, he didn't win. I don't know who he lost to, but he got an Emmy nomination in 1974. Appeared all the time on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. He had a recurring role on Mork and Mindy as Mindy's boss, Mr. Sternhagen. So, all you old time TV sitcom people, the place to look for Foster Brooks. Now, getting back to the song, here's the record right here. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer by Elmo and Patsy is on Oink Records of all things. Oink Records from Windsor, Canada. So it's not based on a true story, but the story of what happened after the song was released sounds like it could be a country western song. uh, Randy Brooks had a band, his own band, but they didn't like the song. So they were opening for Elmo and Patsy, and he took it at Lake Tahoe, and he took the song to them on a cassette, and he played it for them, and they loved it. So they recorded it, and then Elmo and Patsy got divorced, and they had a big fight over the royalties because this was their only big hit. So they were fighting over the royalties. So um, Elmo claimed that Patsy wasn't, he shouldn't have gotten credit, that she was only a background singer. Um, so they finally um, um, settled it. Patsy's parents, who were gospel singers, they represented her, and they got the publishing rights to the record, and then they paid Brooks the royalties, while Elmo owned the master recording and he handled the distribution. So everybody made money, and they all, even though they were divorced, they all ended up happy. Elmo went on to really aggressively market it, which is why we hear it so often on the radio during the holiday season. His using his future, his second wife, Pam Wendell, who was a sales rep. So she was the marketing person behind it. They were selling 45s of the song from the stage while he was performing. And he actually did it in drag, and posed for the album cover. So he was grandma on the album. The they decided to bypass record stores, and they sold it directly to the consumer. Um, so their biggest stores, believe it or not, were pharmacies. Now I don't remember this, but they said they sold more records of recordings of Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer at pharmacies than at any other store. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
And Elmo
So
went on to be on Sesame Street, correct?
I think that was his other drunk cousin.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. So it was a big novelty record. It actually inspired other novelty records based on the original recording. And this is true. Grandma Got Run Over by a John Deere was one. And another one, Santa Got Run Over by a Grandma, which was actually used in Florida as a uh, public service announcement to older drivers to be careful when they're driving. I can't believe it. Okay, all right. Well, we'll go to our nun story. This is all my Catholic friends love this one. Sister Anne Donnelly, a nun in Northern Ireland, was arrested. She was actually arrested under suspicion of having connections with a powerful mafia family. Turns out the mob heard about Sister Anna uh, because of the way she used to whack the kids in her classes with her yardstick when they were late paying their lunch money. Um, so Sister Donnelly was actually a go-between. Her guise was that she was visiting the mobsters who were in jail and offering them prayers, but she was actually a runner running messages back and forth between the mob and their people in jail. Um, so you know what they say about nuns. They have their good habits and they have their
Oh,
bad.
oh.
There you go. All right.
Hey.
So back to Japan. Oh, Karen, this is you hit it on the nose with weird foods from Japan. Mayonnaise lovers in Japan can now chug their favorite condiment as a drink. That's right. Nomu Mayo is a drinkable mayonnaise on sale at Lawson stores. All my Ohio and Pennsylvania friends remember Lawson convenience stores. We'll get to that in a second. They're in Japan, so you can buy a drink. This drinkable mayo contains mayo flavored seasoning and processed whole eggs to give it the richness and sourness of mayonnaise, reproduced in a chilled beverage. Mm-mm.
No way.
Yeah. Take this drinkable mayo, mix it with a Bloody Mary and a slice of bacon, and you've got a drinkable BLT.
Oh,
Um,
oh, oh, oh. No.
Lawson's fans in the United States are wondering if it comes with drinkable chopped ham and onion dip, because that's what we used to go to Lawson's for. Here's a Lawson's in Japan. They still use the regular English name, but everything else in there is in Japanese. And a friend of mine went to Ron, went to a friend of the show, went to Japan a number of years ago, and he said that they're clean, they're upscale, they're much more upscale than convenience stores in the United States. It's really a cool place to go.
Hmm.
Um, this mayo is so popular, believe it or not, that there are also pop-up stores that sell nothing but the drinkable mayonnaise.
Oh,
Yeah, they even have a museum dedicated to the drinkable mayonnaise, to Kewpie, which is the another brand. There's a word in Japan for it, uh, there's a word in Japan, mayora, which is a person addicted to mayonnaise. So that's how popular mayonnaise is in Japan. In the United States, the word for a person addicted to mayonnaise is heart patient.
oh, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so I understand they're working on a chocolate version, which would be mayo,
Oh,
mayo and cacao.
oh,
Oh, all right. Software company, Atlassian is the name of the software company. This is for all those people who still have grandma got run over by a reindeer in their head. This company has developed the earworm eraser. Earworm eraser. There's the picture that goes along with it. This is from YouTube. So if you Google earworm eraser on YouTube, you'll find it. It's a 40-second audio track designed to remove annoying music from your head. Uh, you can download it for free, by the way, um, but the company is going to try making a fortune by selling it along with Christmas carols. They should cut a deal with Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, and for every copy of that, for another dollar, you get the earworm remover. They'd make a fortune. Um, so they're being sued, of course, by Mariah Carey, because of her Christmas song, and Barney, because of his song, and that Gangnam Style guy, and all the earworm people don't like this. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., on the other hand, wants one. In fact, he's already talking to them to see if they have one that gets rid of brain worms.
oh,
Yeah, I know we don't talk about politics, but there's one right there for you.
yep.
I'm actually doing a song based on that idea called Grandma Got Run Over by a Brainworm. So let's see what happened with that one. Back to Japan. Oh, we're still in Japan here. One more. A Japanese showerhead manufacturer. Who knew that they specialize like this? They unveiled the Mirai Ningen Sentaka Kui, which is the human washing machine of the future. This is unbelievable, everybody. It's like a giant. plastic container, like kind of like a bulb, um, but it's more of a shower pod, and it has a reclining chair in it that you sit in, and it fills up with water and sprays you. It monitors your vital signs to ensure the perfect temperature. It has an artificial intelligence system that analyzes to make sure that you're calm and not excited. It shows custom videos to you while it's washing you, and it takes in 15 minutes. It washes and dries you, and they say that you're sparkling clean. Um, I mean, you could pay for it. You pay. This is for you, Karen. Uh, to take the bath, take the shower, take a load of dirty dishes in there with you, and you get a
Oh,
shower. And yeah, and you
yeah,
also get your dishes clean. Yeah, you don't need to get a new dishwasher.
that's
Uh,
right.
yeah, find an understanding owner of a car wash, and they'll let you do this. Just drive through with your windows open, and for $20 you got the same effect. No brushes though. It fills with water, and it's got those shower nozzles. Uh, it's like and it
Weird.
fills up to your neck. Yeah, watches so it doesn't drown you. It's like driving off a bridge in your car, where it fills up with water, but this one doesn't drown you. Um, the videos of this, somebody's got to be making a fortune selling videos of this on the OnlyFans pages. This sounds too kinky, that people are already making money. Uh, so hot tub in a bubble is what I'm calling it, hot tub in a bubble. And which, by the way, John's not here to confirm it, but I think we saw hot tub in a bubble open for the 1910 Fruit Gum Company back in the days. Um, but of course, John would never admit to seeing 1910 Fruit Gum Company. Um, you remember them, Karen?
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you're not
No,
going to
I
admit it.
don't.
I get it. I get it. Okay. Their big hit back in bubblegum music days was Simon Says. Another earworm for you out there. Simon Says. It was number 4 in the UK, number 2 in the United States. The band, I don't know why they changed their name. Their original name was Jekyll and the Hydes. They were founded in New Jersey in 1966, Jekyll and the Hyde, by a guy by the name of Frank Jekyll. I thought that was a great name. Uh, they actually opened for the Beach Boys when they went on tour, and then eventually bubblegum music came out, and they thought they'd take advantage of that. I think they should have stuck to Jekyll and the Hyde myself, but that's just me. Okay, here's one more for our Catholic listeners and anybody who's interested in this kind of stuff, especially in the holiday season. It's about Saint Nick and about Santa Claus. So archaeologists digging underneath a building next to the Church of St. Nicholas in Turkey, of all places, uncovered what they believe to be the tomb of the actual St. Nicholas himself. He lived between the years 270 and 343 CE or AD for you old timers. And he inspired the story of Santa Claus. St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, you say it fast, it sounds almost like the same thing. They're pretty sure it's St. Nick because next to the coffin was a pair of shoes filled with fruit, nuts, and candy. All the Catholics out there know that when you put your shoes out on St. Nicholas Day, the next morning you find them filled with fruit, nuts, and candy. So,
Ah,
get that joke. There you go. No glass of milk or plate of cookies next to it. Uh, but they did find an empty bottle of Turkish wine, which could explain the red nose and jolly disposition of St. Nicholas, who became Santa. Although, now, they didn't call him jolly back then. The correct term back then was Turkish daffy.
Turkey. Oh, come
Turkish
on.
daffy. I did that for all of you of a certain age who are yelling out Bonomo, Bonomo, Bonomo. Oh, it's Bonomo taffy. You remember that
I
commercial?
do remember that.
Holy smoke, there's an earworm for you right there. Bonomo Turkish taffy. What a scam that was. It was the hardest and stickiest candy ever made. It was invented on Coney Island in 1912 by an Austrian immigrant by the name of Hermann Herrer. I think Austria probably kicked him out because he was ruining too many teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Turkish taffy, believe it or not. Oh, here's a picture of the original Bonomo's Turkish taffy, but with the little you couldn't do that now with the little Turkish guy. I don't know what that giant hot dog looking thing is next to the pot of taffy,
Yeah, that's
Karen.
weird.
And
Yeah.
yeah, isn't it? Yeah. This is what you remember here. This is a pack
Yep.
flat wrappered Manila Turkish taffy, natural and artificial flavors. And we'll get to the part where it says smack it and crack it in a second. So it was originally sold in large sheets to Woolworths. And Woolworths back then used to have these snack bars. So you could go to a Woolworths snack bar and they would break pieces off of it for you and weigh with a ball peen hammer. and and they sold it by weight. So this is back in into the late 1940s. They were selling Turkish taffy at Walmart, Woolworths. I'm sorry, at Woolworths. Then the company got tired of banging these things, so they started selling it in a wrapper in candy-sized bars that you yourself could whack against the hard
Yeah.
surface and into pieces. So instead of them whacking it, you whacked it yourself. Um, the Once it was this was actually a scientific property, and they used to promote this. Turkish taffy is a non-Newtonian fluid, which means that it's both a solid and a liquid. So it's hard when you shock it and then you put it in your mouth, it becomes soft. So that's why it's a non-Newtonian fluid. For all you science fans out there, you get so much useful information from What in the World here. Uh, so it says on the it says on the wrapper, smack it and crack it. What they should also say is the same thing's going to happen to your teeth when you put this
Yes.
in your
Yes.
mouth. It was and it sold for 5 cents. It sold for 5 cents up into the 1970s. There were stores still selling Turkish taffy for a bar for 5 cents. So you could save the other 10 cents that you might have paid for another candy bar, put it in a
Exactly.
jar because you need it for the dentist bill. Um, So I couldn't believe it. I thought Turkish taffy, holy smoke, I hadn't thought about. I believe there's a place in Cleveland, Ohio, for you Clevelanders and Ohioans out there called B.A. Sweetie. If you've never been there, they carry all the old candy. You can probably buy Turkish taffy by the barrel there. If you want to ruin all the teeth in your entire neighborhood. Uh, I don't know why you would do that, but I think there's some places online. In fact, BA Sweeties has an online site that you can order from. They're not a sponsor; they should be. So, hey,
Of
come
course they
on,
should be.
yeah, why not? All right, I think that we have. Oh, there's our logo again. So that means we've reached the end of my portion of What in the World. But since John's not here, it's still my portion of What in the World because that means it's time for everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the co-host. Yay! I can hear the screaming across the
Yay!
the demand for Bluff. We should get our own Bluff the co-host spin-off TV show, a radio show on
Ooh,
public radio. I think that we'll have to push for that, Karen. So
yes, I think
so
so.
our regular listener, for if you're not a regular listener, Bluff the Co-host is a game that's based on stories similar to the ones that I've been talking about all afternoon, but one big difference. Those stories were real, or at least as real as the stories can be on the internet. In Bluff the Co-host, they may be real, they may be a bluff, and it's up to Karen. You playing at home, John. I'll play for John here. I'll be the ghost John. You'll see how he does. You decide real or bluff, and then we'll check with the judges, and the judges will let us know. So let's get right to story number one. People who don't have a fireplace can still get the look of a roaring fire in their living room by playing a video of a fireplace on their TV. If that's not enough fake flames for you, NASA has come out with its own version of this video, but instead of a Yule log burning, it shows 4 actual rocket engines during a blast off. The rocket is from the last uncrewed mission to the moon in 2022, and it runs in a loop for 8 hours. So you have plenty of time to imagine feeling the heat or annoying your relatives who are sitting there watching it with you enough that they'll go home already, whichever comes first. The video is free on NASA's website until the holidays are over. Okay, so if you don't have a fireplace, you don't have a fireplace video, you can get something better. A video, an 8-hour video of rocket engines blasting off from NASA to make you feel warm and cozy on Christmas. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start
Oh,
and finish with you.
I hope this is not real because I even think the Yule log video is one of the, excuse me, everybody, stupidest things I've ever seen. Um, so I'm going to say it's a bluff.
I think there's a lot of people who agree with you on that one, Karen. I'm not necessarily on whether it's real or a bluff, but yeah, those fake fireplaces is can be annoying. Let's put it that
Yes.
way. Okay,
Yeah.
Karen says that the NASA rocket engine fake fireplace is a bluff. We'll check with Ghost John, and Ghost John agrees with Karen that it is a bluff. So let's see what he has some logical reason, but I can never understand his logic. So we'll just go with John saying it's a bluff as well. Check with the judges. The judges say bad news for both of you. NASA has a real video of rocket engines to play during the holiday season. So, Karen, check it out just at least once. Maybe you'll like the fireplace video after watching the rocket
Maybe.
video.
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so that means the score is tied 0-0. Ooh, let's see what happens here. Boy, Ghost John is playing better than real John. Um, sorry, John. Okay, story number two. Some science professors at Harvard University found they didn't have time to stay in shape by running, so they decided to cut their run times down while still burning off calories by inventing mechanical running shorts. The shorts make the runners feel lighter um, with a battery pack on their back, even with a battery pack on their back, and they make their legs pump faster than they can normally run. So they can cover longer distances in less time while burning the same number of calories. The shorts are illegal to wear in marathons or other running events, but Harvard is hoping to make the battery packs small enough that their football team can wear the shorts as robot jock straps in the next Harvard Yale football game. Okay, so the professors at Harvard who wanted to be able to run in less time, so they invented mechanical running short. Real or bluff? Karen, what do you say to that one?
Uh, you really have me scared this week. I'm going to say it's a bluff. And if it's real, I think I quit.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that at least until the end of the show. No,
Okay.
Karen says, that's right. Somebody's got to sign us off. So Karen said the mechanical running shorts are a bluff. John, our sports guy, would analyze this thoroughly and bring up historical races where it would have been a benefit. And the end result is I think John would end up agreeing with Karen that it's a bluff. So let's check with the judges. And the judges say, bad news for both of you. That is also a real story. Another story.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I read it. I said, this has to be a bluff. And then I checked the Harvard site and it is a real story. Isn't
Wow.
that? Yeah. How lazy do you have to be or pressed for time?
Okay.
Wear mechanical running shorts. All right. So that means that the score is still tied 0-0. Boy, Ghost John. Man, he I think we may trade. We'll trade for Ghost John for all the bluff the co-hosts here. He doesn't even have to have the do the flashcards with John's lovely wife.
No.
Okay, points are doubled in round number three, but it's not going to make any difference. Whoever gets this one right wins. So when you think you have it bad, remember this story of a poor woman living in Louisville, Kentucky, who looks exactly like the actor and comedian Jim Carrey. She says she noticed around age 8 that she looks just like Ace Ventura with a big mouth, buggy eyes, and a skinny body. Now that she's an adult, she says people are constantly coming up to her during the Christmas season and asking her to do the Grinch. While that's annoying, she draws the line at doing the bodily function noises from Dumb and Dumber. In a real case of turning lemons into lemonade, she is now performing as a stand-up comedian doing Jim Carrey impressions. Okay, so the poor lady in Louisville, Kentucky, who looks exactly like the actor Jim Carrey of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Dumb and Dumber, and of course, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now she does impressions, real or bluff. Karen, we'll start with you again.
You know, this sounds almost real, so I'm going to go with real.
Almost real. So the needle is close enough to real on
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
left the co.
yeah, the needle went to real.
Okay, so Karen says that there really is a woman in Louisville, Kentucky who looks like Jim Carrey, the poor lady. John, of course, would say that's impossible, and he'd give all the biological reasons why. No one could ever look like Jim Carrey except the only Jim Carrey. So John would say it's a bluff. We'll check with the judges, and the judges say, "Ooh, congratulations, go to Karen. That is a real story." She even
Poor
has
lady.
yeah, she has videos on YouTube, so you can check her out. Google the lady who looks like Jim Carrey, and up she comes. And you know, she's a nice looking lady, but she looks exactly like a young. She looks. She says people say you must be Jim Carrey's daughter, and she's not. That's how much she looks like it. It's
Wow.
unbelievable. So sorry, John. That means when you come back from your excursion, which I hope, by the way, John is on an excursion. I hope he brings back some clear Bigfoot pictures. Hint, hint. Uh, or UFO pictures because he's in a
Yeah.
place where there's a lot of UFOs right now. So let's find out. So congratulations again go to Karen with 2 points. She's the winner for this week. That means we've reached the end of this episode of What in the World. So I want to thank Karen Hale, as always, our co-host, our producer, co-host, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our platform. Check out our podcast, all the other great podcasts Karen has on newclevelandradio.net. Also, check out Yes I Can Coaching for all your coaching needs. The Check out Amazon for my book, What Would You Say to a Naked Space Alien? If you're looking for something to give to your friends, it's real paranormal stories that I have encountered of the strangest aliens that I have found. Also very funny. So it goes along with real news, sometimes strange, always funny as well. And I want to incognito. I'll thank Ghost John. We'll thank Ghost John this week for subbing for real John. John will be back next week. Next week we'll be on Tuesday
Tuesday.
at
Yes.
regular time, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And finally, I want to thank all of our listeners, all of our viewers on YouTube. Without you, we would not do the show. You are the reason why we get together, why I do the research, find the strange stories, write the jokes, and then we sit and laugh for an hour, and we hope you do the same. So thank you so much for joining us. Send us messages on Facebook, send emails to Karen on the website. Whatever you want to do, we would love to hear from you. Walk up to us in stores if you recognize us. Listen to last week's show and you'll learn all about that as well. I won't wish everybody a happy holidays yet because we still have one more week to go, but don't go overboard on the Christmas shopping. Watch what you eat because you're going to eat too much over the holidays. So watch your diet until then. And I think on that note, we will say
I
goodbye
think
till
we're
next.
going to say